Hello again, everyone. Today I am here with another Jackson's haul, and I'm going to be swatching all of these items. Basically, this was the result of another sale at Jackson's, which is a little odd because some of these Golden brand products were actually cheaper than I can get them here in the United States. I don't know how environmentally friendly it is to be ordering US products from the UK, but there were some colors that I wanted to get because basically the golden acrylics are very expensive normally, which seems odd. It's kind of the most expensive acrylic products here in the United States, but they're very, very high quality. So I got some colors that I'd kind of had on my wish list. This is one that I've already tried many times before. This is the Golden High Flow, which is basically like the consistency of acrylic ink. And I have a smaller bottle of this titanium white, and I'm actually running low, so that's why I got this one. I use this quite a bit. And then this and this, they are both open acrylics, which means that they have a longer dry time. And I usually am using these for gel plate printing because they do have such a long open time. You can mess around and put things on the plate for quite a while before you need to worry about it drying out. So especially since I'm in such a dry environment here in Colorado. So I would recommend, if you're interested in jelly plate printing, at some point I plan to do a demo of that on the channel, but there's so many videos out there already on YouTube. So I would say if you're interested in jelly plate printing, to go ahead and look at that up generally. I also got a few of these new products from Golden called So Flat. These are essentially matte acrylics, so they're a little bit like the equivalent of gouache in watercolor, but they are obviously permanent when dried because they're an acrylic product. But I just got a few basic colors to try them out and see how I like them because since they are a relatively new product, I did want to try it out and see whether I liked it. Basically, I got, whichever was available and the least expensive. For some reason, this black was a little bit more expensive, so I got a smaller container to try it out. And then the last acrylic paint product that I got here is this Amsterdam Expert Acrylic in Paynes Gray. Paynes Gray is a color that I use a lot. So I used to kind of resist Paynes Gray because I thought, oh, well, everybody likes Paynes Gray, right? So I want to be different and not like Paynes Gray. But I have come to terms with the fact that there's a reason why everybody likes Paynes Gray, or at least most people. It's because it's a very beautiful neutral color, and it's very useful in a lot of art. For me, I use it in mixed media, jelly plate printing, all kinds of stuff. So this is a Paynes Gray in the Expert Acrylic by Amsterdam. I've tried their lower grade acrylic, and I just kind of wanted to try out the better quality acrylic from them to see if I liked that a little better, because I have been working with some like with Liquitex, their Basics acrylic ink, and it tends to go bad sooner, I've noticed, and it just has a little bit more of a plasticky look than the artist grade. So I'm trying to elevate some of my acrylics, and although I still use craft acrylics occasionally, I'm trying to move away from those too. And let me show you what the other products are. I'm actually going to get these off to the side. I will swatch these next things that I'm going to show you first. So let's just get these off to the side here. So I do have one soft pastel from Schmincke, which is also in Paynes Gray, I believe. Let's see, gray blue, which is essentially a Paynes Gray. But I don't have any pastels, soft pastels in the Schmincke brand, so I just wanted to try one, which is why I got this. These are very expensive per pastel, but basically it's a pigment stick, if for lack of a better term, because there's just so much pigment packed in there. That's why they charge as much as they do. So I'm gonna swatch that for you. And then I have a few Molotow acrylic markers. I really, really liked the ones I got before, and so I just added some basics, like a white and a black, and then this one is a brown that I didn't have. And the reason why I didn't get them to begin with is because I have a lot of black and white acrylic markers in various brands. The brand that I use the most is probably Posca for those, but I've actually found that the Molotow are better, just from my somewhat limited use of them. I like them better. So I decided to get a black and a white, and like I said, a brown. And then this is kind of fun. I'm really excited to see this. This is a liquid chrome marker, also by Molotow. I've been wanting to try these, so we'll test that out today. And then I have some pastel pencils. These are like a soft pastel in a pencil, basically. Not this one, but all of these. These are all from Faber-Castell. What are they called? Pit Pastel pencils. And I looked, and they don't have the name of the color on here. They all only have the numbers. So I'll give you the numbers in case you're interested in getting these specific colors. They did have a name dedicated to them, I think, when I got these, but I don't have my receipt handy, and I don't remember what they are. So I'll give you the numbers in case you're interested in getting the particular colors that I have. And basically with the soft pastel pencils, I've been wanting to do a little bit more mixed media with watercolor specifically. And Pit Pastel, they're kind of soft in nature and they're not overwhelming in color. And I also got a lot of neutrals here. And so I thought that might be a good way to mix other media with watercolor, because I can do that with that. And you know, even though they're not technically water soluble, you can use water with them. And sometimes you can, you know, wash out the color a little bit with water. So that seemed like a good choice. This one I am actually not going to be swatching for you. And I might actually not swatch the white, the white Pit Pastel either, just because you're not going to be able to really see it. And I don't think I'll have anything dry in time to do white over, but we'll see. But this one is not sharpened. I'm not going to sharpen it up. It's just a white. It's soft white. It's a Holbein, just regular colored pencil. It's from their Holbein Artist Color Pencil line. And I saw a few swatches of this over some other media on YouTube, and this seemed like the best white, solid white colored pencil to use for that purpose. But I just thought I would introduce it. Basically, it's solid white and will be pretty opaque over other media. So that's why I got that one. So let's put that off to the side. I'll decide about the white pastel as we go on. So let me go ahead and get out my swatching paper here. So I'm going to be using this Pentalic field book. It's watercolor paper. But none of the media I'm going to be swatching today has to be used on watercolor paper. This is just where I've been doing the majority of my swatches. So I wanted to be consistent with other swatches. All right, so I am going to zoom in a little bit. I'm not going to zoom in too much because I've noticed that if I zoom in too far, the focus tends to go in and out for whatever reason. So I'm going to leave it out a little bit, and then I will put this up to the camera so you can see the swatches a little better. So I'm going to hold off on this white pastel for now. If we have things that are dry, I may come back and do that over it. Okay, so what I am going to do, this is an off-white pastel, so you won't be able to see it very well. So this is 1122-103 is the color. Are these all 1122? No, there are some different. Some are 1121. So I will just give you the full number. This is 1122-103. But this is a soft white. It's sort of like an off-white pencil. So I kind of wanted to stick with neutrals for this. And you'll see one of the main problems with pastels is that it does create a lot of dust. So I'm gonna actually blow this away so you can see the color as itself here without all that extra dust. That means I'm gonna have some dust on my table, but in a pencil form, it's actually an easier way not to get dust all over your hands. So I'm just trying this out, and then I also will probably use these with other pastels to get sort of like a hard line. Okay, so this number is 1121-270, and this is a light gray. I think this might be a cool gray. So like I said, it's going to be a little hard to see these more neutral ones in the beginning, but I will put this up to the camera so that you can see it a little better. So, and the texture is going to come out on this watercolor paper. Actually, let me make these samples a little bit bigger so you can see them just a little better. Let me go back to that first one, make that one a little bigger. This is almost like a Naples yellow type color, this sort of neutral white here. It's a little on the yellow side, so hopefully that'll help a little with you seeing it. This is another gray. This is another lighter gray. This is 1121-230. Okay, so that last one that I did was clearly a warm gray, and this is a cool gray. And how you can tell that is that the cool gray will have a little bit of bluish tone to it, and then the warm gray will have a little bit more of sort of a yellowish hue to it. Okay, and another gray. This is 1121-273. And let's see, this looks like it might be a cool gray as well, although I don't know. It's pretty neutral gray. So you'll be able to see them more as I go forward because the darker ones are going to be last. Okay, so this color is another gray. It's 1121-233. What was the last one that I did? That was 273. Yeah, so sometimes it's hard to tell whether it's warm or cool until you get another one down. So I think this is the cool one and this is the warm one. So basically I got a lighter gray and a darker gray. And then a dark gray. This is 1122-181. And I think this is more like a Paynes Gray. May have even been called Paynes Gray. Paynes Gray usually leans a little blue, but not always. Okay. And then I got sort of a sagey green here, which is 1122-172. And again, really trying to go with neutrals so that I can try and get a little bit more atmospheric stuff going on with these colors. This one is, this might be a yellow ochre. This is 1122-180. And I think I already have an indigo in this brand or in this media. So otherwise I would have gotten an indigo. And this is more like an Indian red here, sort of a neutral red. And then this number is 1122-192. So there you can see, so the range is nice, but still fairly neutral all the way across. And here, I'll go ahead and put this up to the camera so you can see that a little bit better. There you go. And you will see this textured surface with the watercolor paper underneath because this is a cold press watercolor. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to these acrylic markers. They all need to be shaken before they are used. It's so that you can, sometimes the pigment will separate from the binder in there, so you need to shake it up a little bit. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see, and then you have to press down. You can see it's coming up to the bottom. Oh, this is a great brown. Just wanted sort of a neutral brown here because that was one of the few colors that's missing. I'll put a link to the last swatching video I did where I swatched a bunch of these. I really, really like them. They have a really nice broad range of really great colors. So I'm going to do the black one next. And I probably won't do the white again just because you're not going to be able to see it, but just know that it's a great white color. And this, so that, oops, looks like I have a little bit of fuzz in there. So that one was a 2 millimeter in the brown, and then this one is a little smaller. It's 1.5 millimeter in this black. I kind of wanted something I could do writing with. I will totally darken this corner, but that way you'll be able to see. But it's a really, really nice black. And if that dries, I'll actually do the white over, but we'll save that for later. Now comes the fun one, the chrome. Like I said, I've been kind of eyeing this for a while. Let's see, what size is this one? I'm not seeing which size it is, but I know that they had a variety of sizes. It'd be interesting to see what it smells like too, because sometimes these really serious markers smell. Oh my God, I'm having a really hard time opening it. Let's see. Oh boy, guys, this might be a, you're gonna have to see this one next time. No, there it goes. Okay. Oh, because it actually had this around the cap. I thought the cap was down here, so that's why I was having a hard time. But it is. Oh, so this is a small, very small tip. Okay, and you can see it coming there. Oh, this is awesome. I'm gonna do a little, so very metallic, very fun there. You're seeing a little bit of glare, but you will see more of that as it dries. Let me try and get, yeah, there you go. Really, really cool. And I think we actually have enough drying going on this brown. Okay, sorry, I was just smelling. So this does have a little bit of a smell. It's not super strong, but it's a little bit chemically, just so that you know. But these, the other acrylic markers have no smell whatsoever. Okay, and this is a 1.5 white, 1.5 millimeter white. And I'm gonna get that going there. There we go. So there you go. That's what that looks like over that. Let me go ahead and get that white white pastel. We're probably still slightly wet on that yet because we're getting a little bit of rub off there, but not a ton. So you can see what the white pastel would look like over that, and you can like rub that in and do all kinds of things with that. There you go. All right, so let's get to the other wet media. Oh, wait, I still have this pastel. So let me do that first. So this, oh my goodness, that is so soft and lovely. And actually, I'm not seeing a ton of dust. There's some dust, but it's not as bad as some other brands, but it's super soft and creamy. That's a really nice pastel. I have so many other brands of pastel. I actually got a lot of pastels as sort of a hand-me-down from a family member, so I don't need any pastels, but I did want to try this brand, and it's really, really lovely. And actually what I will do is, one of the things that's really nice about soft pastels is that you can sort of fuzz them out like that and get a really subtle fade from one color to another. Here, I'll just see if I can do that here too. Yeah, you can get that effect with these as well. These are obviously going to be a different formulation in the pencil. And I'm just wiping my finger off on a cloth afterwards, and it completely comes off. If you are concerned, because some pigments are toxic if you get them into your bloodstream. So if you want to be more careful about that, you can always use gloves. You can do this kind of effect with a Q-tip. I would normally not do this long term with my fingers. This is just for this demonstration purposes. I do try to be really careful with the type of media that I get on my hands, because part of it is, you never know when it's going to be too much, right? So there, that kind of shows you how you could blend those a little bit. And okay, so let me go ahead and close that little box. This was actually in a Sennelier pastel box. Jackson's really does try to pack their things and reuse packing materials, so I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and go on to the other acrylics here. I do have a glass of water off here. It's actually a jar. This at one time had apple butter in it, but it's not apple butter anymore. And I would not go back and use this for apple butter after this point, after using it for acrylic media. And then I also have with dog fur in it, a really beat up acrylic brush. This is like a craft acrylic brush. I tend to be really hard on my acrylic brushes, so I don't get really high priced acrylic brushes because I tend to, just lay it down in a pretty thick application. So that's why I'm using it for this. I don't even know what brand it is anymore. So, but you could use, I just got this off of Amazon, I think. So you could get any kind of craft acrylic brush from Amazon pretty easily. So I'm gonna do these open colors. Oh my goodness, it's like Fur City over here. Okay. My dog is both brown and white, so we get all of it. Okay, so this is green gold, a really beautiful color, and golden acrylics are so pigmented, so you really get a lot. So you can always tell how opaque or not things are by this little swipe that they do at the top. So this is obviously semi-transparent because you can see through to the marks there. And this does dry, even though it's open, it does dry faster on paper than it does on your brush or in the tube or on a palette. So basically when it comes across anything absorbent, it tends to be more likely to dry. But it'll still take longer to dry than normal acrylics on paper. So I'm just rinsing that off in my water over here. And then we're going to go to the Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold, which is another really popular color for acrylics. And I didn't have it in this open. I didn't have this or the green gold in the open. And I wanted to be able to use them for jelly plate printing is predominantly what I'm using these for. But if you do paintings in acrylics and you've had trouble with your acrylics drying, the open might be a really good solution for you because it really does stay open. I mean, I would say for a few hours. It's almost, I think they're trying a little bit to emulate oil paints with the consistency. It's not going to be the same as oil paints, and I've never really used oil paints, at least not extensively, for anything other than encaustic work. So so this one is also, I would say, semi-transparent or maybe semi-opaque. It's a little bit more solid here than the green gold, but still they're kind of in the same family. And I've been really liking working with things that tend to have that transparent quality. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to the next media here. I'm gonna do the, ooh, I apparently had some dried paint in the bottom of that jar, which is now really not looking good. Okay, so let's go with this Amsterdam acrylic. Again, I've been dabbing off my brush after rinsing it so that it's only slightly wet when doing that, so that I can get a little bit of that color out. And then, so you can see, compared to these colors, which are semi-transparent, this one is clearly an opaque color. And this is actually a really beautiful Paynes Gray. And I think that you're really going to get more opaqueness from opaque colors when you're going up into artist grade paints. So that's another reason why I wanted to do that. Because basically one of the things that is up with artist grade paints is you're getting more pigment. Okay, and then let's go with the black So Flat. We're almost done here. I only have 3 more things to go. Let's see if I can get this open. Very nice of them to have a little seal on the inside. And I'm actually going to go from this seal. It looks like you can, oh wow, that's really, really opaque. That's nice. I'm actually going to put that seal back on there so that I don't lose the paint that is on this, this here, because especially golden paints, they're all pretty precious in that they're kind of expensive. So I like to use them sparingly. But this, it's so black that you're going to be able to use that black in a lot of things. And once these dry a little bit, they should be fairly dry by the time we finish here, you'll be able to see the difference between regular acrylic and the flat. You can kind of already see that here where it's dried, it's a little bit more flat. You're always going to get a little bit of shine off of normal acrylic. So it's kind of nice to have something matte like that. All right, and then I'm going on to the Paynes Gray in that same So Flat. So let's lift that up. I'm actually only gonna lift that up part way so that I can close it like I did with the other and save all that goodness up there on the lid. And, oh, that's a lovely, I really like their Paynes Gray. I think their Paynes Gray is kind of the same color in all of their different things they have. I mean, Golden has, what is this called? High flow acrylics. They have, they don't have acrylic inks, but that's essentially the equivalent of the high flow acrylics. And they have a soft body and a, I guess just regular, which would be hard body. That sounds weird. I don't know. Okay, and I will actually open this titanium white because we've got, you can see it's so matte. I'll show you that up close again, but I will show you with this white. So this is titanium white, and this is more of a heavy body. That's it, not firm body. So this is more of a heavy body, and you can see here that it's a little bit more opaque than the same color titanium white, which is in the high flow acrylic. And they serve different purposes. You know, if I want layers to be a little bit more translucent, I will definitely go for the titanium white high flow. And if I want it to be a little bit more opaque, I would go with something like this, which is a little more of a heavy body. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do this. Oops. I swear, my desk area is going to be just covered in art stuff, but that's okay. I mean, it's a working space. So let's go. Oop, I lost my little camera there. Okay. So let's go ahead and put that over this black. And I think, actually, let's put it over this as well. A little goes a long way on these. It really does. Which is nice. And you can actually go over multiple times to get more of a thick application and have it be a little bit more opaque, because I kept rubbing at it, so it's going to be a little bit more transparent there. All right, and I'm not going to open this one, but just note that the high flow acrylic is obviously, it's going to be like an acrylic ink, and it will be more transparent. So let's see. So you can kind of see that these two, they're almost all dry. Once they're on paper, they dry actually pretty fast, but they're almost dry, but they still have a little bit of a sheen to them. And this one still has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's actually less of a sheen than some other acrylics, but this is completely dry and you're getting a little bit of a sheen there. But this is really super matte, and so is this in the area that is dry. Love that Paynes Gray. All right, and there you go with the other media. What I think I will do real quick, I'm approaching 30 minutes, so I try not to make my videos longer than that, but I do want to just show you what would happen. I'm going to use the same acrylic brush this time. Show you what would happen if you tried to activate these pastel pencils. So you can activate them. They don't have any kind of binder in them, so basically you're mixing pigment with water. But you can get them to blend a little bit, which is kind of nice. And it'll vary depending on the color. So I just wanted to show you two different ways that you can kind of blend your soft pastels. This is another reason why they work really well with watercolors, because you can kind of blend it into your watercolors if you want. And like I said, it's really going to vary by color. And I would normally be using a watercolor brush, but now I'm using this, which I can scrub a little bit more, because this is, you know, just a crappy brush that doesn't really matter if I rub super hard. So there you go. And then I'm going to do this. Oh my goodness, look at that. Ah, such a beautiful color. Yeah, I might have to use that. But that actually blended out really, really nicely. Oh boy. Of course, it's always the most expensive materials, right, that I get all excited about. It's kind of a drag. But with something like this, I probably would focus on the colors that I like the most. Like, for example, this sort of bluish gray, which is more like a Paynes Gray, because this gray is in the same family as this Paynes Gray here. But I'm going to lift these up and show them to you once again, so you can see what I've done to the pastels there, and then show you these acrylics and how they've dried. This is super matte. I really, really like that finish on there. And you can sort of see as the white is drying, it's also super matte. So excellent. I'm liking those a lot. All right. Well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.